pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Attendance, roll call. Absent is Ileana. Ira is seated for Ileana. Absent is Roxy. Jane is seated for Roxy. And absent is Eric, it looks like. Okay, all other members. I guess Nick is absent as well, so all other members present. Are there any additions to or deletions from the agenda?
No, sir, there are not.
Okay. The approval of minutes. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes of October 13th, 2022?
No.
No.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve?
I move the Planning Commission meeting minutes from October 13th, 2022 be approved.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Rich, seconded by Ruth Ann, that we approve the Planning Commission meeting minutes of October 13th, 2022. And I'll call the question. Kim?
Aye.
Ira? Ruth Ann?
Aye.
Jane?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Chair is aye. Passes unanimously, 6-0. All right. Next, we have a public hearing, Hess Ranch Looking Glass. And it's three separate questions. The Hess Ranch PD Fourth Amendment, the Looking Glass Segment 2A Sketch and Preliminary Plan, and the Looking Glass Filing 8 Sketch and Preliminary Plan. And we will turn this over to you, Bryce, when we open the public hearing at 7:02.
Thank you, Chair, members of the Commission. Before you this evening, as noted, are three items that, because of their relationship and proximity, I'm going to present these as one. I'm going to present all three items as in one presentation. These items are the Hess Ranch PD Amendment 4, Looking Glass Segment 2A Sketch and Preliminary Plan, and Looking Glass Filing 8 Sketch and Preliminary Plan. The applicant has provided documentation that the required public notice has been provided for these public hearings. Okay. Sorry, one moment. Jeff's trying to resolve my user error. All right, there we go. Apologize about that. The subject properties are located south and west of the intersection of Stroh Road and Crowfoot Valley Road. Looking Glass Filing 8 is located at the southeast corner of Stroh Road and Spirit Trail Boulevard. Segment 2A is currently undeveloped and is directly west of Looking Glass Segment 1 and has additional undeveloped land to the west with future phases of Looking Glass. The school site, reserved via the Hess Ranch PD zoning, is proposed to be relocated to the west side of the site and would be developed with a future phase of Looking Glass. The applicants are requesting the approval of a zoning amendment to the Hess Ranch PD to respond to concerns expressed by the Douglas County School District regarding the suitability of the existing reserve school site for development. The applicants have agreed to pursue the zoning amendment to change the school location to a more desirable and developable site. Currently, the school site is Planning Area 19 and is approximately 11.38 acres. The school site would be relocated to planning area 31 on the left side of the slide and would maintain the same acreage as the school site is today. The previous school site would be added to the community park designated in planning area 18, currently 12.76 acres, creating a 24.14 acre community park with both active and passive uses. The 70 dwelling units previously proposed within planning area 31 are proposed to be reallocated to other planning areas within segments 1 and 2, including the 16 proposed units moving to Looking Glass Filing 8 planning area. There are no changes in the overall density in the PD, and there are no changes in the overall dwelling units within the PD. It is simply a reallocation of the units. There are 9 criteria that the town uses to evaluate rezonings. These criteria ensure that a need exists, the proposal is consistent with the master plan, and there are adequate services to serve the proposed site. This rezoning is needed to relocate the school site in the PD. It does not change the overall residential density, which complies with the master plan today. It does not reduce open space and reserves additional park space. After evaluating the zoning information, staff has determined that the proposal meets the 9 criteria set forth in the land development ordinance. The sketch and preliminary plan for segment 2A is an approximate 345.5 acre undeveloped site located west of Spirit Trail Boulevard. The sketch and preliminary plans request approval of 658 residential lots, 2 commercial tracts, approximately 53.5 acres of open space, approximately 31.5 acres of parks, and 2 future residential tracts, tracts A1 and A2. Also included in this proposal is an extension of Chambers Road and Stroh Road, connecting from where they currently intersect with Spirit Trail Boulevard up to a future intersection of Chambers and Stroh Road. Within this development, there are 4 neighborhood parks, a community park, trails, open space. All those are being provided consistent with the LDO and the PD zoning requirements. The development is required to provide 15.7 acres of park space and is providing 31.5 acres of park space. The development will include several park amenities to satisfy the required park dedication requirements, including a large 25.7 acre community park. The park area will consist of both active and passive elements, including sports fields, dog parks, basketball courts, playgrounds, shelters with seating, ping pong tables, a sledding hill, barbecues, gardens, and other amenities. The sketch plan also provides, as noted, 53.8 acres of open space. Sketch and preliminary plan for segment 2A also includes the regional trail in Brandy Gulch, which has local trails accessing it from the neighborhoods and provides access to the new community park, and has an underpass at both Chambers Road and Spirit Trail Boulevard. For filing 8, for a little context, here is the previously approved Looking Glass Segment 1, which is currently under construction. I have added a filing 8 note up there in the upper left-hand corner to provide context. The approximately 19.5-acre Looking Glass Filing 8 site is located at the southeast corner of Stroh Road and Spirit Trail Boulevard. The parcel is currently undeveloped, and the last parcel to be developed within Segment 1. The sketch and preliminary plan request is for 106 residential units residential lots for paired homes and 11 tracts. Filing 8 corresponds with planning area 6 in the PD, which allows for duplex development. The current version of the PD, Hess Ranch Plan Development Amendment Number 3, allows for 90 dwelling units in planning area 6. If the PD amendment, amendment number 4, is approved tonight, it would transfer 16 units to this development, adding up to the 106 lots being requested for the sketch and preliminary. The approved and under construction development of Looking Glass Segment 1 planned for and provided for meeting the infrastructure, roadway, and parks for the proposed Filing 8. There are 694 dwelling units in Looking Glass Segment 1, which includes Filing 8. Based on code, requirements for parks dedications require a total of 16.59 acres of park space in Segment 1. Filings 2 through 7 have already provided 17.04 acres, thereby meeting the standard for the parks with Segment 1 sketch and preliminary. In addition, there are 2 parks in Filing 5 right adjacent to the site to the east and to the south, as you can see on the color graphic up there. All right. Staff has reviewed the proposal and has determined that the project is consistent with the master plan. All plating requirements of the PD and the land development ordinance have been met. The proposal provides adequate access, infrastructure, drainage facilities, and design considerations. Utility providers have confirmed capacity and availability. All referral agencies have been addressed or will be addressed at the time of final plat. The public notice requirements have been satisfied. As noted, there are 3 interrelated projects before you tonight, which will require 3 separate motions. One for the zoning, one for sketch and preliminary, Looking Glass Segments 2A, and one for sketch and preliminary for Filing 8. This concludes staff's report. The applicant's representative, Karen Henry, is here with a presentation as well. As always, I'm available for any questions you may have.
Questions for Bryce?
I just need some clarification, Bryce, because there's a lot of numbers being, and a lot of designations of things, and my head's beginning to spin a little bit. So segments have filings within them. So Segment 1, Filing 8, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and so Segment 2A will have multiple filings within it as it moves forward, is that correct?
That's accurate, yep.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure I followed it.
Yep.
Then the other question I had was on the school where it was moved to, there was something in our packet about whether or not it was too close to another school, and that it was about the same distance from the other school if different roads were used to get to it. So could you explain a little bit more to me, because I was confused by that.
Sure. So originally, with the original PD, the school's sites were set up with the school district. They do think about proximity between the schools. When they looked at this site, actually got out on the site and realized that this planning area 19 was not a suitable site for a school. The applicant was good enough to engage with Douglas County School District. The town was certainly involved as well. And they analyzed kind of a number of different options within that area. Some of the criteria being, how level it is, how the shape of it, those types of things. But also the other was the proximity to the other school sites. The school district has analyzed this site and is happy with this location within the proximity to the other schools. But that was one of their considerations.
Because when I read about it, them being close together, I thought, oh my gosh, the drop-off traffic's going to interfere with each other. But I looked it up on the map, and it looks like they're far enough apart that even if every student is being dropped off one by their parents, that there will still be enough room for traffic to go down Stroh Road.
Yeah.
Good.
Close is relative.
Yes.
Well, I guess, Bryce, along those lines, given the fact that over the summer we got hammered about school traffic at several meetings, I thought, is there a representative from the school district here? Do we know?
There's not tonight.
Okay. I thought that they liked, even on elementary sites, to have two roads, that there's more than one way,
Yep.
and this looks like there's only one way.
They do. Their preference is to have two collector roads, one on each side. They could not find a site within kind of their given areas and kind of the development constraints of the area. And so this site was the one that best fit their
Okay.
needs.
So we'll look forward to that traffic discussion here
Yes.
at some date in the future.
Can we require busing at this school?
No.
All right, any further questions for Bryce? All right, does the applicant want to step forward, please? State your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of Planning Commission. Sorry for the hoarse voice, but hopefully we get through this.
Okay.
For the record, my name's Karen Henry. I'm with Henry Design Group, 1501 Wazee Street, Suite 1C, Denver, 80202.
Well, welcome.
Pardon me?
Welcome.
Thank you. We're planners and landscape architects, and we've been providing design services for Looking Glass since 2017, which seems like an eternity ago, right? Here with me this evening are Eric Daniel, our civil engineer with EMK Consultants. Also are Matt Thomas and CJ Kirst, representing KB Homes, who will be the builder of Filing 8. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for letting us present this evening and this exciting new next portion of Looking Glass. I would also like to thank town staff for working with us through the entitlement process. It has been a long journey, I have to admit, but Bryce's presentation was very thorough, so I'm just going to try and touch on some of the highlights and keep it as brief as possible. However, there's a lot of pictures to show, so bear with me, please. I'm learning this. Okay. Matt Childers, who is with Dreamfinders Home, had a work commitment out of town, so he will not be here this evening, but I previously listed the other ones listed here. This is a context map. It indicates how the Looking Glass neighborhood fits into the overall community. The map indicates other neighborhoods that are either existing or underway within the town of Parker. Next is the segments map, and this might help answer Ms. Nelson's questions. Segment 1 is on the east. The orange line is segment 2A, and then segment 2B is further to the west. Under consideration this evening is segment 2A and filing 8 within segment 1. Overall, there's a total of 678 dwelling units in segment 1, which were approved by Town Council in December of 2019. 896 dwelling units are proposed in 2A, and 899 will hopefully be in segment 2B, and you hopefully will see that next year. The total number of dwelling units proposed within the overall Looking Glass community will not exceed the 2,473 dwelling units as permitted by the annexation agreement. Go through these quickly. The area in the red bubble this is amendment number 3. It shows both the school site and the park site. And then Amendment number 4 shows where it was located too. With Amendment 4, you can see that the school site is located next to a 14.76-acre community park in Segment 2B. The adjacency may allow for joint uses of facilities between the park and the school. The relocation of the school site was requested by the district. It will allow for a more constructible site for the school. What was a school site in Amendment 3, as Bryce mentioned, is now proposed as a 24.14-acre community park. Recognizing the topographical challenges of this site, it's anticipated that the active area of the park will be located along Spirituary Boulevard, where it's more accessible, and then the natural passive portion of the park will be located along the Brandy Gulch open space. Other minor revisions of the PD Amendment number 4, as stated in the staff report, include the reallocation of dwelling units in Segment 2B and in Planning Area 6 or Filing 8, and minor modifications to the planning area boundaries to be more in alignment with Segment 2A preliminary plan. This is an image of the overall development plan. This image illustrates the overall existing and proposed developments for segments 1 and 2. It gives you more of a complete picture of the lotting pattern as of today. This illustration is a preliminary plan for Segment 2A, where 658 single-family detached dwelling units are proposed. PA 12 and PA 14 are mixed-use areas and are proposed for 238 dwelling units. However, they're not included within this preliminary plan as future. They are indicated as tracts for future development. The site plan for these areas are not part of this preliminary plan. The parcels are currently in the design process and will be moving forward in 2023. The commercial areas indicated on the preliminary plan are lots 659 and 660, and they will enable future development in the nearer term. Segment 2A is highlighted here. Includes the 658 homes. Lot sizes range from 45 to 65 feet wide and between 110 and 120 feet in depth. This provides a better overview of the single-family lots, the road pattern, parks, and open space. It's tough to see on the east there, Segment 1, but this is a filings map, and as you can see, future filings will be part of Segment 2. The sequencing of the final plats will be similar to what is indicated. The important component of this slide is the brown area indicated as Filing 9. It will provide major infrastructure, road infrastructure and utilities, and Filing 10 in blue will include the community park. So those will be coming online in the near future. This slide illustrates the location of Filing 8 as it sits within Segment 1 and how it fits seamlessly with the surrounding filings, which are currently under construction. The Filing 8 sketch and preliminary plan which is also under consideration this evening, includes 106 paired homes. Each half of the duplex, it sits on its own fee simple lot. The lots are designed to either front on a public street or a green court. Each home is served by a private drive to a rear-loading garage. Each home has a 2-car attached garage and a 2-car driveway apron, providing 4 parking spaces for each home. In addition to resident parking, guest parking is permitted on the public streets and in 42 off-street parking bays. Common open space and landscape area is provided throughout the neighborhood that will be owned and maintained by the HOA. The site and proposed number of dwelling units were included in the parkland dedication, as Bryce mentioned, provided throughout Segment 1. The park in the southeast corner is under construction and is part of the Filing 5 plans. Residents within Filing 8 will have access to this park as well as all parks within Looking Glass. This slide illustrates a key component of the Segment 2A preliminary plan. A high priority for the town is to complete the extension of Chambers Road. The area outlined in red will be the limits of the Filing 9 plat. The road outlined in purple included within filing 9, including a portion of Stroh Road, Spirit Trail Boulevard, and Chambers Road, will also be included within filing 9. The blue lines indicate the roads that were constructed by the developer and completed within segment 1. The orange line going north is the continuation of Chambers Road through Anthology to Hess Road, which we understand to be in the design process. Additionally, Chambers Road through Trails at Crowfoot, shown in the bottom corner, is substantially complete. Overall, this road network is coming together with the development of these parcels and will provide a much-needed alternative to Parker Road. This is an overall parks, trails, and open space master plan. For segments 1 and 2, future trails are indicated. For segment 3, the regional trail system connects the trails through Looking Glass and also connects to the regional system within Anthology and the trails at Crowfoot. The internal trails also provide connections to all the neighborhood and community parks within Looking Glass. This plan illustrates the parks and open space that are included within segment 2A. The open space associated with Brandy Gulch doesn't have a letter on it, but will be dedicated with each adjacent filing. The parks are labeled and are reflected in the next slide. The star located, you can see where it says Community Club and Pool, that will be a community-wide facility. We will be submitting that as part of the site plan process through the town of Parker. Overall, there's a total of 53.49 acres of open space within segment 2A and 31.46 acres of parks included within segment 2A. These are some enlargements of the parks these are neighborhood parks that are located within the adjacent filings. The parks are designed and the amenities provided are in accordance with the town's design criteria for parks, trails, and open space. These neighborhood parks are intended to provide recreational amenities to residents within a quarter-mile radius or a 10 to 15-minute walk. The community park is a total of 25.69 acres and adjacent to 12.25 acres of open space. The community park is the core of the segment 1 and segment 2 neighborhoods. The park will be further defined during the final plat process. However, the plan will include, at a minimum, ball fields, dog park, playgrounds, picnic shelters, pickleball, and loop trail connecting to the regional system. We concur with staff's assessment of the approval criteria for both the PD amendment, segment 2A, and filing 8 preliminary plans. This concludes our presentation. However, I would like either both Eric McDaniel or KB Holm to add anything I missed. Gentlemen? Thank you. Thank you for your time, and we respectfully request your recommendation of approval this evening. We're more than happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions for the applicant?
I have one.
Go ahead.
This probably is more relevant to the final platting, but my understanding is what you're showing us in the adjacent filings for community parks, that's I assume this area has like a master HOA and sub HOAs?
Yes.
And
And Metro District.
Okay, so the filing 8 that we may be approving this evening has access to those other community parks based on the special district and the master HOA. Is that my understanding?
That's correct. I mean, I think all the parks in Parker that meet the dedication requirements are open to the public.
Thank you, that answers my question.
Sure.
Other questions? No?
No.
All right. Well, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any further questions for Bryce?
Not right now.
Okay. As this is a public hearing, we always ask the members of the public to comment on the project before us. I don't see any members of the public, but we'll go ahead and open up the public comment portion of the meeting. Anyone who wishes to make a comment, step forward to the microphone. State your name and address for the record. All right, seeing none, we will close the public comment. Any further questions? All right, then we will close the public hearing at 7:30. And commissioner discussion.
Well, I appreciate the time you guys took. It looks like we've seen what's going on over there, so it looks like a nice neighborhood. Appreciate you working with the school district in trying to find a spot that works for them. And you gave up some prime real estate being next to that park with the school, so appreciate that much. I don't see any reason why we can't move forward with this. It looks like you've met all 9 criteria and are working with staff to finalize everything.
Yeah, I appreciate you working with the school district to get the school moved, and I think it will ease a little bit of traffic on Chambers Road since it'll be a little bit more west than it is now. And I believe the 9 criteria have been met, so I will have no problem approving it tonight.
I'll add my comments by just saying ditto.
All right, then.
I agree with my fellow commissioners. I do appreciate the working with the school district, and I very much appreciate the fact that the road construction and the roadways will be completed in order to provide better access through all of Parker because of the work that you're doing, and I appreciate that.
No, okay. No, yep, I believe my fellow commissioners said it all. Do we have a motion? The first item that we're voting on is the zoning, which moves the school site. Do we have a motion?
I move the planning commission recommend town council approve the zoning.
It's been moved by Rich, seconded by Kim, that planning commission recommend town council approve the zoning. I will call the question. Kim?
Aye.
Ira? Ruth Ann?
Aye.
Jane?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Chair is aye, passes 6-0. The next motion is the Looking Glass 2A sketch and preliminary plan. Do we have a motion?
I move the planning commission recommend town council approve the requested Looking Glass Segment 2A sketch plan and preliminary plan, subject to the following conditions as outlined in staff report.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Ruth Ann, seconded by Rich. The planning commission recommend town council approve the requested Looking Glass Segment 2A sketch and preliminary plan, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff's report. And I will call the question. Kim?
Aye.
Ira?
Aye.
Ruth Ann?
Aye.
Jane?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Chair is aye, passes 6-0. And the last motion is the filing 8 sketch and preliminary plan. Do we have a motion?
I move the planning commission recommend town council approve the requested Looking Glass filing 8 sketch plan and preliminary plan.
Second.
It's been moved by Rich, seconded by Kim. The planning commission recommend town council approve the requested Looking Glass filing 8 sketch and preliminary plan. And I'll call the question. Kim?
Aye.
Ira?
Aye.
Ruth Ann?
Aye.
Jane?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Chair is aye, passes unanimously. All right, well, thank you. All right. Next item on our agenda, item 9, the appointment of vice chair and acting vice chair. This is kind of an annual event, although I don't remember. Did we do that during the COVID? We must have, but...
We must have.
Right. Considering I haven't missed a meeting in 3-4 years, it really is a moot point, but anyway. So we have done it various ways. We take nominations. You can do a secret ballot if that floats your boat. however you want to do it.
How about if I just recommend we retain the same vice chair and acting chair?
I second.
We have a motion on the floor to retain Ileana as vice chair and Eric as acting vice chair. And it's been seconded, so I'll call the question. Kim? Ira? Ruth Ann?
Aye.
Jane?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Chair is aye. Oh,
That's what they get for not.
yeah, that's what they get for not for missing a meeting. And the 2023 Planning Commission dates. We have those somewhere. Was that?
Yeah.
What?
They're here.
I think.
Yeah, it's a Word document inside the, here it is.
I know, I worry so much about those dates, especially if it's, Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day was avoided,
Well, that's good. That's all I worry about.
and
Here you go, Gary. There's the dates.
Any questions or concerns on the dates?
None.
no, I
We have-
reviewed them and they all worked for me,
We have
so.
a motion to approve.
I move we approve the 2023 Planning Commission meeting dates.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Rich, seconded by Jane, that we approve the 2023 meeting dates. I'll call the question. Kim? Ira? Ruth Ann?
Aye.
Jane?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Chair is aye. We got the dates. Is there anything else for the good of the order?
Just a reminder that on November 17th, there'll be a Planning Commission training that night at 5:30.
Just training and not,
Just training, no agenda items.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Fix my calendar.
all right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
It's Eric's job.
Eric's job.
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Ruth Ann, seconded by Rich, that we adjourn. I'll call the question. Kim? Ira? Ruth Ann?
Aye.
Jane?
Aye.
Aye.
Rich? Chair is aye. Good night, all.
Good night.